What's poppin', everybody? It's your boy SnowyKurama, and I am your coach of the Season 5 Chicago White Sox, and we are here for an, I don't know, like a check-in video of sorts for the PDL. At this point, we are a third into our main season of Season 5, and things are going pretty interestingly. Some teams are doing better than I would have expected, and some other teams aren't performing where they usually would be at this point. But first off, we're going to talk about our own team right here. Week 3 is when we start picking up and dropping off Pokemon into the pool, called our free agent picks. And how it works for this league is week 3, you get to pick up something and drop something off, and then that's your team, barring trades, of course, up until week 6, where you can switch in something else. Week 9, where then you can switch in something else, and then the teams that are allowed into the playoffs, which is our top 6 teams out of the, what do we got? We got 8? We got 10? We got 10 this season. So our top 6 from the 10 players we got, 10 coaches, 10 teams, those guys, the top 6 move on to the playoffs, and they get one final free agent switch. And then from that point on, whatever team they have is whatever team they have, and that's just how it grows. So here is our team. I haven't really been able to use Excadrill to its Sand Rush fullness because I haven't really tried to run Sandstorm on the mons that get it, which I think you do. Yeah, Latios does. Yeah, you do as well. And I think Infernape does, and Aerodactyl and Solvali. They all get Sandstorm, but honestly, when it comes to weather, it's just better to have a Pokemon that you don't need to set up Sandstorm and sack it off, because what if you don't get it off? Then you're fucked. So I haven't really been able to get off Sandrush Excadrill. I used it once for Spadef against Mancha, but that was really it. Latios has been putting in some work. I think I could use it a bit better. I could say the same with Greninja. I always kind of sat Greninja earlier than it needs to go. And Infernape has been putting in so much work. I don't know why there are sets on these mons, but I don't know. It just goes to show. I was told that this mon sucks, and yeah, it's the MVP of my team, so I don't know what the hell that's about, but Infernape's doing the work that it needs to do. Araquanid has been bulky. I only brought it once this season so far, but I definitely is going to do more work later on. Rotom's been nice as well, burning Pokemon that needs to be burned. Pain splitting when it needs to do that as well. Volt switching around. It's been pretty fun. Drapion, I don't think I've used it once yet, which kind of sucks, because I think right now it's the only one that I have that has a knockoff. So that, oh, we also have Pharisee that has knockoff, but I don't know. There have been opportunities where I wanted to use it, but then I kept thinking, oh, I have Greninja. Oh, I have Araquanid. They're going to be much better here than Drapion, so hopefully I can get it to do something. I would really like to keep it around because of this poison. Oh, because of poison? What, oh, what the hell? That's interesting. Okay. Well, that's not a valid move that Drapion can learn. It cannot learn poison. So, yeah, I'm hoping this thing can do a little bit better. Its speed isn't bad, so you could probably run the Scarf on some unsuspecting team that wouldn't know about it. But, I don't know, Drapion's just here. Sylveon has been a wonderful addition to the team, even though I only brought it the one time. I think if I brought it instead of Ferroseed or used Ferroseed better, I probably could have beaten Violet if I wasn't an idiot, I'll say, trying to meme with this thing. And I don't think the Silvally, bringing Silvally is bad as we have the parting shot, but I don't know. Maybe if I brought a different team, it would have been a bit better. Also, if I was in that mindset to actually, play. I don't know what the hell was going on with me that day, but it wasn't good. That's for something else. That's not any fault of Sylveon. That's all my own. Eric Dactyl. Speaking of the Florida Flygons and the Blissey, I think I drafted this Pokemon for this reason only. Not really only, but moreover this reason. Plus, I think you get it. Yup. See, I had, and I think you as yes. So that's a big whole reason why I didn't win. It's all my fault. Of course, it always is gonna be the player's fault unless crits and hacks. But definitely needed to think about that better. But Aerodactyl's been doing really good. I brought it once against Mancha and I didn't really need it, so I just banded it. We are all there for that. This thing has been our main Rockium Z Pokemon, which Rockium hasn't really been something I've been bringing. It was more so nobody else would get it because of my Zapdos ? But I can see Aerodactyl doing a lot more besides its speed stat is just massive and needed for my team. Up next we have Silvally. Silvally I really liked using it this past week. I think if I do more things like that, the Silvally will be more useful. The only problem is it has a wide move pool for attacks, but as far as a support mon goes, it's not really this thing's forte. Which I think Game Freak kind of messed up when they were making this thing for that. That being said, it's in lore this thing was supposed to be the Ultra Beast Killer. So being a support set is probably not the best thing, but really with these base stats and the fact that pretty much any Pokemon is better than this thing goes to show that Game Freak mexed the fuck up when making this thing. But I still kind of like it. Last but not least, we got Ferroseed. I tried. I think it would have been better had I actually switched out and then saved it for a different time. But it is what it is. And now is where we get to our switches. My main concern was Excadrill. I haven't been able to Sand Rush Excadrill. This thing loves pressing buttons under sand, and I have yet to make sand with anything that does it. So I was looking at my team, I was thinking, okay, so let's take a look at sand setters, right? Sand Stream. These are the only mons that get Sand Stream in the game. Gigalith is already owned by the Breathment's team. And he has like a Gen 5 theme. None of these guys are Gen 5 up in RU, so pointless. Then we have Hippowdon, which has been, which at the time was owned by the Mo Wild and Mega Mawwiles, got it right, but has been since traded over to Balls of Steel, but still can't pick it up. Hippopotas illegal. That leaves T-Tar and Mega T-Tar. I already have a Mega in my Mega Latios. I feel like getting rid of my only Psychic type and my only Dragon type, kind of dumb. Plus, the job that Zapdos does has been is something that Rotom has been doing this whole time, and according to my playstyle, better than how Zapdos would do it. So, welcome to the team Tyranitar. Sandstream, of course, is why it's here. Our stats, we are not very speedy, but that doesn't matter because we're here to be bulky and to deal lots of damage. We have a very nice base 100 HP stat. 134 attack is monstrous. Our defensive stats are nice, and especially with Sandstream, it being a rock type, we get a Spadef boost. So even unboosted in Spadef will probably be able to take resisted. We'll definitely be able to take resisted hits, but moreover, we'll be able to take some non-resisted, non-super effective hits. So I guess some neutral hits. That's the word I'm looking for. We'll be able to take some neutral special hits even if we have all of our investment here, and maybe only 4 here. And not only that, but okay, now it doesn't. But that's not really a concern because it gets Stone Edge, so we can use our Rocky MZ. Taking a look at other moves it gets, it has access to Dragon Dance. I love Dragon Dance Mega Tyranitar, so we could even do that with regular Tyranitar. We have access to Earthquake, of course. We have the Elemental Punches. I don't know about Thunder Punch. Yes, we do. We also have access to Taunt, which is nice against your Chanseys and Blissies. We can Toxic things if we want. We have a lot of pretty nice moves. You could even do Roar, Stealth Rock bullshit if we wanted to. We could use Counter to get rid of some mons. We could use Curse if we want, which would be pretty cool, I think. And yeah, we can just run the Spadef Curse set if we want. Thing will live forever. We have Thunderfang, I guess. That's just something else. I think Tyranitar will be better on my team than Zapdos was, since it was just kind of sitting there. But the big issue that Tyranitar brings to the table that Zapdos kind of covered up better is our weakness to fighting. Rock and Dark, both weak to fighting, which makes Tyranitar 4 times weak. Excadrill doesn't like fighting types. Drapion isn't weak to it, but it probably still doesn't want to take any. Greninja's weak to it since we don't have access to Protean. So is Aerodactyl. So is Ferroseed. And depending on our Silvally type, we pretty much can't use anything that fighting would kill. So we can't use Silvally Steel, really. We can't use Silvally Rock. And anything else that fighting can take on. We have a Resist here and Latios. And an Araquanid as well. Sylveon can resist too. Rotom has some nice defenses, but you know, 50 HP stats. So I might be interested in fighting resists for trades later on, as we seem to be lacking in them. Plus, there are moves that fighting mons get, like they get dark moves for this thing, right? And Ice Punch exists. They probably get some type of Iron Head or Poison Jab for this thing, and some get Aerial Ace and Stone Edge. So we're gonna have some issues against fighting types. But if we play around it, I think we'll be just fine, especially since we got some nice Scarfed mons. And does Greninja get any sort of Hidden Power Psychic? Okay, not where, well, we barely even looked. It gets Extra Sensory, I know that. Yeah. What's it get as far as flying goes? Gets Bounce. And it kind of sucks because our Z move doesn't do anything against it either. It's Rock. So that's kind of rough, especially since Jonathan had 2 of the 4 Swords of Justice on his team, as well as some other people have fighting mons. So our next free agent switch might have to be something that can take fighting hits a bit better, maybe even a Ghost type. A Ghost type would be great. Although then again, we are more susceptible to knockoff that way. But everything has its trade-off. Does it get? It doesn't get Fairy move. There's no way it gets Fairy. There's no way. Yeah, no Fairy moves. That's fine. I don't think Greninja needs Fairy. But that is your Chicago White Sox for week 3 on. Hoping Tyranitar will put in the work, which I'm sure that it will. And definitely will help me use this thing a bit more. Plus, our Spadef will be going to Aerodactyl, and Ferroseed can take advantage with the Leech Seed getting back some HP, plus whittling down some people with Toxic and the Sand damage as well. We have like we have a D-list, a Sand team here. Very, very D-list Sand team. In fact, it's not even really sand, it's just a sand setup. So yeah, that's the Chicago White Sox. Let's take a look at everyone else's switches real quick. All right, here we are with the sheets. So before Gage made his switch for Tangrowth instead of Victini, he wanted to make sure that he could get Will's Zeraora for his Hippowdon, the thing that fucked us up during week 1. So he dropped something that uses Fusion Bolt and stuff, a Fire Psychic for a regular electric type that does still get the nice coverage that Victini had, barring Psychic moves, I think, and picked up a pretty nice wall in Tangrowth, so I don't think he lost much. The only thing he lost is Sand, which didn't look like his team really utilized Sand anyway, except for maybe Heliolisk, but that's just fine. And then over here, Jonathan, he dropped a Virizion for Mandibuzz. He used to have the 3 of them. The 3 of them. He had Virizion up here, then Terrakion and Cobalion down here. But now he picked up the something that's a little bit better for defense, Mandibuzz, and I'm sure he'll use it great. I kind of helped Destiny with this, of course. I always have helped her with whenever it comes to building. I put in my 2 cents. I say this is probably going to be good, so you might want to consider this. And we ended up taking off Bronzong because she wasn't using it. She never really used it. It wasn't something that she really liked on the team. She picked up Necrozma, reasons being Photon Geyser is really good, plus its defenses are nice. It's like it kind of replaces Bronzong with the without being a steel type, which she has Klefki, so it's okay. And then over here, Violet has not made a switch yet, which, I mean, she's 3-0. Doesn't really need to. No one really does, but that's fine. Mancha picked up Hawlucha, which would be an insane Pokemon to bring against Destiny or Adam, considering that they both have Tapus and can change around the terrain. As far as anything else on his team, I don't know if he can change the terrain, really. Maybe if he wanted to change... I honestly don't know what terrain switching mons he has. But that doesn't that doesn't invalidate a Citrus Berry set with Swords Dance that can just destroy everything it sees. And, we already went over my switches. We got rid of Zapdos, picked up Titar. Adam went ahead and picked up Gengar, which was a Pokemon I was looking at considering my fighting weakness. But then again, it's another poison type, another ground weakness, which is something else that my team doesn't necessarily like. Even more so now that we have Titar. We have ways around it, but Gengar is good to pick up Toxic Spikes. It has Cursed Body now, which is something pretty good for getting rid of attacks, even though it's not something to count on. But Gengar is definitely different this generation because of its lack of Levitate and switching into ground moves, and now more so a Pokemon that can get rid of Toxic Spikes and use Curse Body. So I think it was a pretty good switch in. Switch out. He didn't really use Swampert too much for what Swampert was there for. He also has a Milotic, so it's just fine. He didn't really need Swampert in the first place. And now we go over to Mitch. Mitch got rid of Chansey and picked up Staraptor. I think he didn't like that people knew how to get around Chansey. And for someone with the experience that Mitch has, it's definitely best to go Hyper Offense. As in Generation 7, Hyper Offense is kind of the way to go. Especially since all the Ultra Beasts are power busted as fuck, and you got Tapus as well. So a Staraptor here is not really a bad switch as far as maybe Mitch's playstyle is concerned. He has access to Defog, I believe. Should anyway. Access to Roost for recovery, and has Reckless for Brave Bird and Double Edge, of course, which Reckless powers up moves that deal recoil. So this thing would be a nice breaker for Mitch, I think, just in case his 2 other breakers here seem to go down. So, not a bad decision, I think. Steven has yet to make a switch. He probably won't. He usually doesn't. And then, last but not least, Will dropped Superior and picked up the Nuke Kyurem Black. Kieran Black is crazy. It's a damn shame that he doesn't have the Icinium Z or Icium Z, but I think Kieran does get a pretty nasty poison move if I remember correctly. Let's see here. Kieran Black. It's not nasty as far as what it's used, its regular use, but oh, it doesn't. I think I was thinking of Hydreigon, however the fuck. Belch. Can't be selected until the user uses a berry, but it becomes like a base 200 poison move to get rid of fairies. So not exactly a Z-Mon for Will, but I mean, he's got a Salazzle. He's got, I guess one of these two gets Poison Jab, maybe. But yeah, that's Kieran's definitely good. I don't know why he got rid of Serperior when Serperior's amazing. But Kieran Black is definitely amazing too, so it's not all that bad. And that's really all I have to say. I hope my Tyranitar puts in some good work. Our next opponent. Let's actually take a look at the next opponents for this coming these coming weeks. Our week 4 opponent is Destiny and the Sweet But Psyducks. Will probably be okay there. I mean, she's not stupid, definitely. She knows what she's good at strategy, and she's picking it up pretty damn well. So I can't say that it's gonna be like easy peasy 6-0, but I'm expecting some sort of a challenge, maybe because of how bad I am now. And the next week we play Breath Mints, which is Jonathan, which is where all of the fighting weaknesses are gonna come to fuck me up. But I don't know, we'll do what we can. We traditionally don't win against him ever, so we might just expect a loss there. But I don't want to play like that. That's just dumb. Why not try? And then last but not least, week 6 we play Will, and then we'll be able to switch. Will is another newcomer. He's got 1 win, and before that he had 2 losses and only 1 point. So on paper it looks like it's gonna be just fine, but his team is pretty stally, so it might be a redemption round from Violet's Blissey. But with the addition of Kieran Black on his team, we'll just have to see. I think he's starting to realize, hey, I can't just whittle down my opponents and expect that to work, considering it's just he brought more of an offensive presence to his battle against Destiny. So I'm very interested to see what these opponents will be doing to our team these next couple of weeks. And that's really all I have to say for right now. So yeah, like this video if you have not already, and of course if you want to, of course. Subscribe if you want to see more of this content. We got Pokemon Black, randomized avatar lot going up as well, and quote-unquote Kingdom Hearts content in the works. And with all that being said and more, this has been your boy, SnowyKurama. See you in the next video. Goodbye.